Thanks for staying with us at STL TV Live. I'm Raynah Rey, here with Amelia Bond, learning about the Come Together Ferguson Fund. And we didn't say much about it the first half. We got to talking about your organization, but let's talk about it. What is the Come Together Ferguson Fund?
Well, last year, in early September, two donors, a married couple, walked into the Community Foundation office and said, "We have ties to Ferguson, and we're just extraordinarily upset about, what has transpired and what it means for Ferguson specifically." And they said, "We want to do something to bring people together in Ferguson for the benefit of Ferguson." And to bring people together, they wanted to make a gift and let that table, and they wanted our help to set that table of individuals that would be seated around it to give away their money for the benefit of Ferguson. So that was the creation of the Come Together Ferguson Fund by this anonymous donor. And that donor, we worked with them to decide who should be around the table, who is grassroots, what type of individuals, and we ended up selecting 8 people. It's a racially balanced table with educators, clergy, most notably Captain Ron Johnson of the Missouri Patrol, who lives in Ferguson as a resident. He agreed to be on the committee. And so it's been a really exciting journey for both this donor who had a unique idea, wanted to do something.
So what happens around this table? We get these 8 diverse people from different walks in the community, different ethnic backgrounds together. What happens when they sit at the table and they're trying to decide to whom this money should go?
Well, first, this started obviously last September, and their first grants were made at the end of May, in late May, early June. And so there was actually a couple meetings of just letting them get to know each other. We brought them together. We actually, even before that, we were interviewing people to say, try to really narrow down who would sit around that table and what would be a good mix for the benefit of the community. And so once they had the opportunity to sit down, get to know each other, we then solicited grant requests from organizations that were doing work or planning to do work in Ferguson, and used a common grant form so that they were receiving the same information from everyone. And so then we had on a Saturday morning a meeting and reviewed the grant requests, and it was that committee that chose to make their first grant recommendations. And so it was just from their sense of belonging and fulfilling and being able to feel like making a difference for Ferguson. And then for the donor was just amazed at how gratifying it felt to be doing something for the community by the community. In such grassroots.
So what types of organizations receive this money, and how could someone who's interested in applying for the grant get in touch with you?
Well, so the committee decided that they wanted to support both existing organizations in Ferguson as well as those that are known that are doing great work elsewhere that are interested in coming into Ferguson. So one that was local is there is a Earth Dance Farms up in Ferguson, does a lot of work with their local farmers market, and has become actually quite well known as, since the events of last August. That's a local nonprofit. Then organizations like Herbert Hoover, Boys and Girls Club, COCA, they looked at bringing new programs into Ferguson. So very established, but looking to say, we need to be in North County and specifically respond to Ferguson. So those were a couple examples of the grants that were made. And the grant sizes ranged anywhere from about $1,200 to $5,000. So they're not large, but they were able to really allow to get on the ground in the community. So going forward, approximately $40,000, I think it was about $39,000 was given away of the initial fund amount. And we've since had a couple additional donors give to the fund. We even received some national press. The Chronicle of Philanthropy is a national journal in the philanthropy space. And they picked up on the story because they thought it was such an interesting story of a donor story and a community story.
Wow. So how would somebody apply for the grant very quickly?
So So we haven't set a time frame yet for the next round. We wanted to get through the summer and all the programs that were just awarded were summer programs. So there'll be something this fall, and you can watch the Community Foundation website of stlgives.org,
Okay.
and a common grant application will be available. And if you have questions, give us a call.
Wonderful. Well, for more information about Come Together Ferguson, visit the Greater St. Louis Community Foundation's website at stlgives.org. We'll have more STL Live after the break. Don't you go anywhere.